Welcome to the Success Resequencing Project. I'm Debbie Pontikas.
And I'm Jenn Newman.
Join us as we challenge the traditional definitions of success so you can build a fulfilling path of your own.
Get ready for inspired, candid conversations while gaining tools, inspiration, and confidence to create your own authentic success story.
Hi, I'm Debbie.
I'm Jenn.
And welcome back to another episode of the Success Resequencing Project.
Episode 2, Debbie.
Episode 2.
Here we are.
I love it. I'm so excited. Episode 1 was so much fun.
It was.
I can't wait for today.
I know. Here we are.
Because it's, I think what we're going to do today is really take everyone into a deep dive onto this whole concept of success resequencing and how we came up with that and what our roots and beliefs are and all of that.
Yeah.
But I think before we go there, why don't we just give everyone the formal definition of what success resequencing is?
I love that.
Yes.
Now, can you read your cue cards today,
Barely,
or would you like me to read it?
Go.
Okay. Success resequencing is a process of reassessing and redesigning one's own aims according to what is most individually meaningful and fulfilling to them. I think it's safe for us to say key emphasis on fulfilling.
Yes. I think that is absolutely where we want everyone to focus, because fulfillment, I think, is truly the foundation of success.
Do you think that we maybe should address some folks? Fulfillment feels very touchy-feely.
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily feel like something that is maybe the mile marker that they're kind of assessing their life by. So I think it's also going to be important when we chat about who we really think success resequencing is for.
Yeah.
I think it's also about kind of speaking to that fulfillment piece.
Sure. Yeah.
I think
agree.
it goes beyond just touchy-feely. Like,
oh, for sure. No, and I, it's interesting because I think it shows the different perspective, because I can see the point of view that it's touchy and feely, but for me, it's very concrete. It truly is. I think, we were saying in our first episode that success is a journey. It's not an endpoint.
Right.
I almost feel like endpoint comes closer to fulfillment comes closer to an endpoint ideal where.
And don't you think it's also, sorry to interrupt in this moment, but I guess I say sorry to interrupt and then but. So
just
I'm interrupting
Jenn.
you. Okay. So do you feel that fulfillment, when you say that it's more like an end point, is it more because that's how you are assessing as you go? If I feel fulfilled, then clearly the path that I'm on is working for me.
I think
so more
that's fair.
of a re-engineering, a reverse engineering. Yes.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Because, to your point, it doesn't mean that the journey's over.
Right. And it doesn't mean the journey's easy. Fulfillment is not the same as easy.
No, not at all. I think that you touched on something, and I think we should dive into that a little bit about, who this is for. When we were coming up with this concept, the brand, you're always asked, well, who's your audience? Like,
right.
Who do you think is going to really tune in, and who's going to really resonate with the messages? And so I found that a really interesting part of our journey when we were creating this concept.
Absolutely.
So we decided we are going to call our audience creative contributors.
I love it.
I know. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think something that really delineated how we defined that was through action. There's something about the word contributors. It's about people who are invested. Yeah. They are sometimes very career-minded, driven, very intelligent. They know, they have a good sense about themselves. They're open to direction. They know within themselves they have something more, keyword, to give.
Yes.
And sometimes they're searching for what that is. They feel the feeling. They're not quite sure how that's going to materialize, but they definitely feel that there's more. It's not that moment of, is this as good as it gets, right? Yeah. They're like, I'm made for more. Yeah. Whatever that may look like. And I think that the idea too with the word creative, which was really important to both of us, was that it wasn't about you had to be a quote creative person in terms of the arts or something of that nature, although we're not saying that it's the lack of that, but it's it's about being creative. Oh, and I think that ties back to open-minded, open to direction, which is, you know what? I'm going to trust this gut feeling that I have. I'm going to move forward with that. I'm going to let that guide me.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to be open to what that may look like.
Right, exactly. And it's more of to your point, it's not like creative is arts and crafts, get out your crayons and scissors.
We
but
do
we
personally love
would
that.
love that. To me, it is about thinking outside the box. For those that are type A, like me. Be creative with how you approach things.
Yes.
Be creative with how you feel like you might be able to get somewhere. And just really someone who can, or maybe they're feeling stifled, right? Maybe this is a person who truly is creative, but they're not being allowed to be that way.
Well, and I think there's sometimes a negative connotation around creatives in general.
Right.
Creatives can be easily defined, and I say that only coming through the ranks in life with a creative arts degree. So there is sometimes that notion that creatives are flighty, that they aren't serious, that they're just kind of involved only with what they're passionate about, and they don't really take the time to be mindful of next steps, future planning, strategy, etc.
Right.
That is, unfortunately, that's a stereotype that really isn't accurate. So when we use the word creative, it is, to your point, that it is about just being open, that if you have that desire within you, then you do have the means to fulfill it.
Right.
How that happens, sometimes we have to step out of the way of that, right? And just kind of let things kind of fall into place.
Right.
But it's about being open and really understanding that it will find its way. It won't be necessarily linear.
No, that's what we're always saying. And I think what I love about the combination of these creative contributors, the contribution part is really, it is that you have more to give, but it's not about necessarily to others. That's very important, but it's also to yourself.
For sure.
So how do you attack life? How do you attack a project? How are you really putting forth the effort in everything that you do? So for me, I look at the creative contributors as a great marriage of the right brain and the left brain.
For sure.
Where when you find a way to use both sides of your personality, and one side for others is stronger than others, but you really have to tap into both sides to truly excel, in my belief, at what you're meant to do. So I love that. I mean, that's kind of one of those things that I was excited about to kind of introduce. And some people may be out there saying creative contributors, like that doesn't sound like me.
Well, in all fairness, we kind of struggled with it at first. We were like, hold on, how do we feel about that? And we took some time. We spent time with that idea for a bit. And then when it connected for us, and we realized it wasn't trying to exclude anyone.
Right.
It was really about saying all are welcome here.
Yes.
And if you're open to it, that's honestly, that's enough right there.
Absolutely. So that I think was important for us to be able to explain on when we went into this, who we thought was really going to be passionate and really enjoy this movement with us.
Sure. And we define ourselves as that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think once we identified that, well, it was all kind of it was a beautifully intense, stressful, imaginative, exciting nonlinear day when we were doing our branding project. But I think now let's really dig into what our core beliefs are.
Love this.
Like for the Success Resequencing project, this mission, this journey that we're on, let's talk about that. So we have our beliefs, and then those each have their own standard behind that belief.
Love it.
So why don't you list, and then we can go in and dig into each one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, voice. I mean, we could talk about that. We could have a whole episode just on voice.
That's true.
We really could.
Yeah.
The belief being the voice piece, the standard being, if it's in you, it's yours to say. Don't you love that?
I love that. I can't wait. We're going to dig into that.
We are going to dig into that.
I love that one.
The quest, every step matters.
I am passionate about that.
That came out. You are very passionate about that. And I love that. Respect. I'm very passionate about this. What's your story? Everybody has a unique, incredible story.
Yes.
And it deserves to be told.
Yes. And this is the platform for this. This is what we've set this up to
100%.
do. Absolutely tell your story.
Which is why we were very excited about what's to come.
Yes.
Initiative. I love this too. You are the solution. Go get it.
Yes.
Go get it.
Yeah. And you know what, for me, and we'll get into this. Actually, we should wait. We'll get into this. But because I'm so excited about that one too, because you can read that word, you can read go get it multiple ways and it still resonates.
Yep, for sure. Spirit, all about the spirit here. Listen and enjoy the ride. Tuning into that inner voice, that inner knowing, that true intuition. Some people call it spirit. Some people call it God. Some people call it self. Some people, whatever that is, that voice within that we all have, that in many cases has been shut down for people for a very long time.
Some people call it their mother-in-law. Just kidding.
There is always that.
Yeah. Right. Whatever that voice is, whatever you listen to, that's authentic to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That listen and enjoy the ride because it is, man, it is a journey. So let's
recap that real quick.
Yep.
So our beliefs
Yes.
are voice.
Yep.
The quest.
Yep.
Respect, initiative, and spirit. All right, let's dig into each one of those and why we think this is so important for people to understand about themselves and about their journey and about how they can resequence potentially their path if they listen to these beliefs. So let's start with the voice. It's in you. It's yours to say. Jenn Newman, talk to me about your voice. I know this one was really...
This was huge for me. Yeah. I think, and we will delve, I'm sure, further in when we each talk about our stories, but I firmly believe that everyone has a distinct and unique voice. We are not here by accident, in my opinion. And I think that there is something so powerful when people tap into their voice. All we are waiting for as parents, this as moms, we couldn't wait for them, our children, to speak for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? To hear what that little voice was going to sound like. And then you go back to recordings of our kids when they were tiny and you hear them now. And that voice, just the evolution of what that is, it gives me chills even saying it. We are no different, but as adults, a lot of times we tune that out.
Yeah.
And we don't believe that what we have to say matters.
Yeah.
We don't believe that our point of view matters. That's a really sad place for me to think that way.
Yeah.
And for me, voice and the fact that it is in you, it's yours to say, is also about that piece of empowerment.
Yeah.
Which is to truly tap in. If it's in you, it's yours to say.
Right. And no one can put it out.
No.
No one can change it. And I think, if someone's listening and they're saying, okay, I'm struggling with this concept or the voice, it's yours to say. Like one of the things that an exercise that I like to do is to ask someone, what did you want to be when you were little?
That might be one of your favorite questions,
that's
actually.
One of my favorite questions. Because I think it says so much about their inner voice. It doesn't mean that you have to be that person, but what did that say about you
at that time?
In a time where you had no one else telling you what you could and couldn't do. There were no pressures of society. There was no one saying, no, you can't. It was all about creative imagination and pure joy.
Yeah.
So I love asking that question because I think if someone's struggling with trying to understand what their voice is or maybe it's cloudy or maybe it's gotten confused.
Or maybe it's just evolved into something that doesn't feel right anymore.
Right. So go back and just reflect. And then, and that's not to say that you can't be fulfilled if you weren't, like maybe someone wanted to be a doctor or a pilot or a singer. And maybe that path isn't necessarily what your destiny is, but what was it about that? What made you so excited?
What made you so excited? Exactly.
And then bring it back and put it into your efforts and what you do and find a passion again that brings that sense of imagination and excitement back into what you do. So that's why we thought voice was so important and that too many times people just get shut down and they don't find a way to express their voice.
And that's tragic to me.
Tragic.
It really does feel tragic to me when people do not feel that they have a voice in this world. And that could be, I mean, I think in many ways that's probably one of the deep-seated missions in my life, is to encourage people to use their voice. And we'll talk more about that. We could spend all day, and we're not going to do that. All day long, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
So the quest. Okay. So this is my passion project here. Every step matters. And there's so much that you can say about that. But to me, where I get so frustrated is that people don't give themselves enough credit to just get it done. Every step matters. It's to make a big decision is a bunch of small decisions, right? Or, take passion in effort and grit. Like to me, it's grit. Like to me, every step matters means you need to show up. It's not easy.
We know that's to be true. But do you also think that it's about the effort, the micro effort that comes with it? Because there is something about that personal responsibility of showing up to yourself and knowing that anything worthwhile does take action and effort, right? And something in motion is obviously the momentum that comes from that just builds on itself. It's hard to stop something that's already in motion.
Right.
So there's such an action behind it. You are a very action-driven person. Yeah. And you're also very driven by personal responsibility. Yeah. That's something that you have definitely imparted on your children. That's a big deal for you. It's a big deal. Yeah. And so to say that every step matters, it's also about not circumventing the work.
Right. Yes. And you know what? I give you a lot of credit too for opening my eyes on that, because I can get very linear on that, unfortunately, on every step matters where it's a forward thinking. But I think what you've helped open my eyes to is that quest is also reflective, and that if you made a mistake, or maybe you just tried something out that wasn't right, that matters. And that matters because it helps build to you who you are today.
Absolutely.
So that's really, and I just got goosebumps. So it's like really that quest for us. It's not about just forward thinking. It's about reflecting.
Absolutely.
And understanding that every step you've taken to today matters. And every step you take tomorrow matters.
Absolutely.
So just go through life with that passion and perspective, and just hold on. Just see what you can do.
Absolutely. Yeah. It will blow your mind.
It will.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So
respect.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Sorry, it's going to happen. Like there's nothing that you can throw at us that we're not going to come up with a song or a jingle or something. Okay.
I agree.
But respect. So what's your story? So you're passionate about this one too.
I am. I think in this world today, now more than ever, holding space for people to tell their story and have respect for it is critical. We have gotten so divided, which has caused us to stop listening. It's caused us to stop being inquisitive, to be curious. And although that sometimes may mean an uncomfortable conversation, it can also not resonate or sometimes rub us the wrong way. There is such power. There is something to learn from everyone's story. Everyone. I don't care who it is. There is something to learn. And if we just take the time and hold space for that to happen, wow, it's just incredible the things that you can learn from other people and where they've come from. And that's the other piece. We're so quick to judge, to judge where people are at in this moment. Yeah. We see someone, we meet someone, we think we have it all figured out. And the minute you ask them what their story is, there's never a time that you can't step away and go, wow, I had no idea. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely. And it's one of the same, like on a smaller scale, if you never know what someone's going through.
You don't.
And you don't know, maybe that, you may have had a bad interaction at the grocery store with someone, right? Or they stole your parking spot or whatever it is. And they yelled at you and you're like, what is going on?
That did happen to me the other day.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay. Fabulous. So it's like, well, for that point, it's like, you don't know what happened to that person.
No.
And who knows if they just lost their job.
Exactly.
Or, they have, a child that is special needs and it's a stressful environment and they, whatever it is, like it's the respect. It's a hard thing to do.
Yes, it is.
It's a very, very hard thing to do. I think
it's a work in progress. I find myself in that work in progress every day, which is to be sensitive to the fact that we don't know.
Right.
And we aren't going to know unless we ask.
Yeah.
And if someone's vulnerable enough to share their story, wow, my hat goes off to them, because it's in many ways.
But don't ask if you're not willing to respect
listen.
it and listen. And that's where I think we struggle as a society, is we say, oh yes, we care. But then you're not listening. And then you start judging, and then that's the challenge. And I think what we are wanting to do with this and when we talk about this with our guests and in different episodes, it truly is that exercise. It's not easy, but to be able to have the respect for someone else, you have to respect the situation and know that you may not agree.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean that you can't learn from it.
That's true. Right. And I also think it goes one step further, and it does start with self-respect.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes people who can't listen to someone else don't even respect their own voice, let alone someone else's, right? And I know that's a core value for us here, is to hold space for people to tell their story, whatever that is. Yeah. And know that we applaud that. Yeah. And we honor that.
Yeah. So that's and then, moving into initiative. All right. Oh.
Type A's unite.
Type A. We need those shirts. Type A. Not scarlet letter A. But type A.
Whole different show.
Yeah, whole different show. Initiative. You are the solution. Go get it. So where my mind is going with that is really, it's about accountability, self-accountability. Right. Like we can say, oh, you're the solution, go get it. Like, and there's a part of that where it's like, it's a rah-rah, it's a supportive, it's like, everyone gets a medal type of a thing. And that, there is part of that, but then there's also like, wait, stop. Solution's right in front of you. Like you have to make it happen.
The answers are within you.
The answers are within you. So go get it. Like, What are you waiting for? Yeah. So that's where.
But it also says it's not up to someone else to do it for you.
Right.
You are the solution. That means you have to do the work.
Yes.
You can't sit and wait for someone else to fix it for you. You can't wait for someone else to define it for you. You can't wait for someone else to rethink it for you.
Right.
You have to do the work. And that can be very scary.
Yeah.
And it can feel overwhelming from a place of you just don't know where to start.
Right.
So I really do honor that. That is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But when you can change your mind and realize that if you have the desire, if you have a problem, if you have an issue, and you can empower yourself to say, okay, I am the solution here. If that means I'm lacking a skill, knowledge, I don't have the answers, I just need to go get them. They will be presented when I am seeking. It's like what's the expression? When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to put yourself out there to do that. It still requires action and our favorite word, initiative.
Initiative. Mm-hmm. But I think what you will come to learn from us is that we see both sides. It's a 360 approach to a lot of this. And we do want to be those motivators. We do want to be, when you are in this community with us and along this journey with us, we want to be able to say to you, go get it. Mm-hmm. Like we want you to know you're in a place, you're in a community that supports that. Mm-hmm. When others may say, are you sure? Are you sure about that? I don't know. We're going to be like, go get it. Yep. Go get it. Absolutely. Show initiative. Take the first step. You can do it. And we're here for you.
So true.
Yeah. So it's a good one. I love the initiative. One.
I will have to tell you, as you were talking about cheerleading, there will be a point in time when I will tell you the time that I did audition to be a cheerleader and fell on my head. So, sometimes you do need somebody else to just boost you up and be there for you and support you. But
I did too. I wonder if our auditions were very similar because I did the spread eagle and that was your moment. Couldn't do, and I literally was in a group of girls that were like, they had been in gymnastics since they were prenatal. Like, they came out doing flips. And so I was like going out in my little group and, they were all the stands. And I also struggled with weight when I was a child. So I was a little chunky monkey and it was fine because but I was a really big voice and I really had the cheer down. I'm walking out doing my hand waves and they're doing doing flips and back flips and all this kind of stuff. And then each person has to do, I don't know why I'm on this tangent, but it's,
I brought it up,
you
frankly.
did. Okay. So I have to hear your story too. But anyway, so I did my little pop, 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 clap, clap, clap. And then I did the spread eagle and a tuck. I think I attempted a tuck. And then, I did not make it.
You did not make it?
I didn't make it. I was in marching band.
I was going to say, I was in chorus. My voice belonged in a different place.
Yes.
And the rah, rah, rah with my short hair when I looked like a little librarian.
Oh, yeah.
And I had really big bifocal glasses, buck teeth.
Oh.
I thought it would be really cool to wear like Esprit. Remember Esprit?
Oh, yeah.
I had an Esprit Hawaiian shirt on.
Yes.
With some little shorts and the infamous, were they Converse, the cheerleading shoes that had that you got to slide the school colors into the sides of the
they're like capers or
I feel like they started with a C, but I don't remember what they were.
Yeah.
Not
Kangaroos?
worth the point.
I don't know.
But I attempted to do a back handspring with a spotter.
Oh, because you need a
I needed a spotter.
Yeah.
And it was the really big exercise mat, the gymnastics mats. And so I get ready for my spotter, and I'd been going to cheerleading school. And in order to do the back handspring, I had to take the glasses off.
Hold, please.
Then I'm blind as a bat with a spotter, mind the full view, did it, landed on my head.
Okay.
All the cheerleading moms were all in the audience. You could just feel the room go, that didn't work so well. And then followed up with, because of that initiative, by God, I was going to try it again.
Yep.
So got up again, dusted off, put the glasses on for a moment to reacquaint, gave the glasses back away, and then did it again and just splatted. And that was my moment of cheer. That's when I knew maybe we should try something else.
Right. But you know what? Good for us for having the courage, and for our parents who knew, listen, they knew we weren't going to make it. But they didn't tell us no. That's a really hard thing to say as a parent when you know your child's going to fail, but you let them crash and burn, because it really taught us a lot. And I think it's part of this whole thing. This is the initiative. This is where we, okay, well, that didn't work, but let's do something else.
I think that leads into the fact that when we say our other belief is spirit, right? Listen and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
We listened.
Yeah.
And we heard no.
Yeah.
And
loud
we said
and
we're
clear.
going to redirect and we're going to go do something else. What instrument in marching band?
French horn. And I was drum major. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
explains
impressive.
a lot, doesn't it?
That is fantastic. French horn is not a simple instrument.
No.
So bravo you.
Thank you.
And look where we are today. My hat goes off to every competitive cheerleader out there.
Oh
because
my gosh. It's dangerous and very, yes, absolutely.
Cheers to them.
Cheers to them.
Legit. Mm-hmm. Listen and enjoy the ride.
Listen and enjoy the ride. Spirit. I mean, you can't get anywhere. To me, that's fulfillment. Listen and enjoy the ride. When you finally tune into that spirit and just truly be your authentic self.
Yeah.
That's fulfillment.
It is.
That's success.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm excited to continue on this journey.
Yeah.
As we start to unpack that with other people.
Yeah.
And hear about what they're up to and how that's applied in their own lives.
I'm super excited. I think that, episode 2 is in the books.
And you know what? I really hope that I want to encourage our listeners and our viewers to start to share some of the things that do resonate with them. If there's something in an episode that really resonates and feels right, we would love to hear that.
Yes.
Right? You and I, we want that engagement.
Absolutely.
We really want to connect in that way. And so we'll make sure in the show notes how to connect with us on social media and through our
share
website
your story.
And shit.
We want to hear your story.
We really do. Open invitation.
Yeah. So excited. All right. Here we go.
Another one down.
Love it.
Can't wait.
Thanks for joining us. If you loved this episode and know of someone who would find value in it, please spread the word and share it with a friend. We are passionate about redefining success, and it would mean the world if you could help us get our mission out to as many people as possible. Please take a moment to write a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can also hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest episodes. Connect with us on Instagram @Success Resequencing Project or via our website at www.successresequencing.com. We'd love to hear your story.